Hey everybody, it's Rick
and Rusty
with eatingwestvirginia.com, and we are here at La Famiglia Italian restaurant in Huntington, West Virginia, and we are with Ralph, Jordan, and Joe Hagy. Guys, thanks for having us in. We had some great food this evening. We'd like you to talk a little bit about how the restaurant got started, what was the inspiration, just anything you want to tell us about.
I think the main inspiration is in the name. La Famiglia, the family. It's family. The guys lived here going to Marshall. I retired 2 or 3 times from the chemical industry, loved to cook. And we said, hey, let's put a place in. Starting off as a deli, quickly transformed into a trattoria, more casual type Italian dining. And it just grew from there. 3 years this past October. And it's all about family. That's the one thing growing up. Everything was centered around the dinner table. You know, you ate together, you discussed things. That's when you learned everything you needed to know growing up. So, carrying that tradition on, we still have our dinners whenever we can, especially on Sundays. We have dinner together, and we talk about things, talk about the business, about family. It's also a way, if you saw inside, for me to let the guys learn about their heritage. You know, they've been to Italy, to my mother's hometown. You know, my mother was Calabrese. She was from Famiglia Policastra in Calabria, southern Calabria. My dad was Swiss and Scotch-Irish, but a fantastic cook. The Hagys have been here since 1732 from Switzerland. The Girardis, my mother's family, came over, Grandpa, the first time about 1897, several trips back and forth until he brought the family over. But everything we do here is what I grew up on. It's what the boys grew up on, having Sunday dinner.
A lot of family recipes.
Is that how the recipes come about? Tell us a little bit about how the recipes come about.
What the guys tell you what their memories are of growing up.
Yeah, like my dad said, we've always been a food family. You know, we've always been centered around, you know, what we're going to eat tonight, or we'll be sitting at home, getting ready to go to bed, and we talk about what we're going to cook the next day. And you know, like going to Grandma's house on Sunday for Sunday spaghetti and fried chicken and meatballs. We just have always been ourselves around the dinner table. So we like to carry on with like my grandmother's tradition of, you know, making the homemade meatballs, the homemade spaghetti sauce the same way that she used to make it. So we really try to carry on the tradition of the family that way through the food.
Yeah, the recipes are not written down at all. We have everything, you know, it's basically a taste. So you're making the sauce and you taste it. Does it taste like grandma's sauce? Does it need more of this, more of that? Making the sausage, the meatballs, it's the same way. So everything that we do, you know, it's a recipe, but it's also a memory. So it goes back very, you know, very.
I know this story well.
Yeah, very.
My mom's the same way.
Yeah, exactly. So everything you taste, you put it up against how grandma's taste.
Yeah.
Everything you do.
Well, we went to my mom's hometown, and once they know, we use the word from our brother wore our out. Once they know you're bona fide, then they'll take you in. And they'll bring out somebody in the town that's a little more prestigious, one after the other. But once they know you're actually familia, your family,
right, then
the food and the wine flows. And it was an opportunity to meet so many. Half the town is my mother's family. But I wanted to find out if what I grew up on was the same. And basically it was. You know, it was. And I learned too, because growing up I knew they always liked seafood, but they lived in the mountains of southern Italy. Until I got there and realized they were only 30 minutes from the Ionian Sea. So they had fresh seafood, absolutely, but they also raised, you know, sheep, goats. Pork was the basis of Calabrian cooking. It's pork, it's sheep, it's hot peppers, which we've kind of carried that tradition on. And those, and like I say, it's something I could stand side by side with my mother. I can do the same thing with my sons, and we'll make sauce and think we're doing exactly the same. It'll always taste just a little bit different depending on how much hot pepper, how much garlic, how much basilico, how much parsley, but it's still basically our heritage.
All right, guys, we've got one last question. Rusty will ask it.
One of you can answer it, or all of you can answer it. The question is, we ask this of everyone. If you could sit down for a meal with anyone alive or deceased, famous or otherwise, who would it be and why?
I would have to sit down with my grandparents. You know, I never knew them. My grandfather died in '45, my grandmother in 1950. And so I never had the chance to know them, but I think it would give me more insight into my heritage, and that's something I would love to do. That's,
yeah, not to copy what he said, but you know, it's kind of it's a good answer, because I'd love to be able to taste the food that my ancestors made, my grandparents made, and, you know, grandparents and family members I never got to meet. I'd like to just get to eat with them and see how my food kind of compares to theirs, and see where certain, you know, flavors came from, and, you know, why I like to eat spicy, and see what kind of matches up.
Well, I'm gonna go one generation closer. I just go back to my grandma's house because she always made a hot sauce growing up. And as a kid, I didn't like hot food at all. You know, I never ate the hot sauce on Sundays, but every Sunday there's a little thing of hot sauce at the table with spaghetti, fried chicken, meatballs, and said today, I love hot food. You know, it's part of your heritage coming through, I guess. So I'd probably go back and eat the hot sauce.
Good deal.
Excellent. Thank you all so much for having us. Everything was fantastic that we tried.
Really appreciate it. And we'll be back because you're just down the street from us. So awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Very good.